The Energized Show, up the Irish.
Here we go. Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Energized, brought to you by Our Kings Competitions. Ross,
are you intoxicated or something?
How are you doing, man? Haven't seen you in ages.
Man, recovering after that 15-hour shift we did on Saturday. Unbelievable stuff. We were at ADCC in the morning, Cage Warriors in the evening. What a day. We're going to talk all about that and the upcoming PFL Dubai Championship Series fight between Paul Hughes and Usman 2. So stay tuned for all the Irish MMA content that you need in your life.
Amen to that, Puddin. What a weekend. What an absolute cracker of a weekend.
Cracker of a weekend. Really enjoyed it. Really looking forward to talking to you about it, Basmo. So why don't we start with the Cage Warriors main event and work backwards? What a night in Dublin. The main card really banged. It really stepped it up a level. And Leon Hill, he got the job done in one with a head kick finish. He obviously, it's quite the journey he's had since, making his pro debut on, I'm going to say, hours notice over in one of the bubble shows during COVID. Then going from there to becoming the main event in Dublin, opponent changes. I think you were actually asking him, Baz, tell us the timeline of this turn of events for Cage Warriors Dublin from.
Yeah, so obviously we were talking to Leon after the event, and he said that he found out he was going to be the main event on the Wednesday, and then on the Thursday he found out that he had got an opponent change as well. So
and then Friday weigh-ins, and then Saturday night main event.
Yeah, but as he said, shout out to Ian Dean, the matchmaker for Cage Warriors, for getting that over the line as well. Because imagine being told that on the Wednesday you're going to be the main event, and then the Thursday you could have been just off the card, and then Max Laddie would have been promoted to main event. And but also in the build up to the event, Solomon King Simon was scheduled to be the main event on the show, and then his opponent fell off, and now he's going to be fighting for the Cage Warriors featherweight title at Cage Warriors 196 in London, Ross. So I think Saul will be happy over that outcome.
Yeah, November 15th, Solomon King Simon versus Nick Bagley for the vacant Cage Warriors featherweight title. It is going to be an absolute banger. Hopefully Solomon Simon brings home the gold. He's on an unbelievable win streak and finishing streak in Cage Warriors. So let's have it. But speaking of those finishes, Baz, how good was that head kick from Leon Hill?
Oh, it was quality. There was a lot of pressure on Leon going into this. He's calling that he wants to go on Dana White's Contender Series. If you're on the YouTube channel right now, we posted all our post-fight interviews with the likes of Leon, Jer, Gary, Max. There's a few more as well, so make sure to check them out on the shorts. But no, it was a huge occasion for Leon. He got that win. And the question is now, Ross, do you think he should be in line to fight for the world title next, or do you think that he's going to get a call up for Dana White's Contender Series?
I think he's thereabouts. I don't know how many more welterweights will be ahead of him. I think Leon Hill versus Justin Burlington sounds like a pretty cool fight. I'd definitely be here for it. Either that, or maybe he fights a Matt Figlak or something like that next. But yeah, Leon Hill looks really dominant. I just don't know if that particular win over Blasco, and obviously it's not his fault, is the one that sort of gets it over the line. But look, you got the job done under 60 seconds, and when you have pullouts like that, all you can do is fight who's in front of you, No,
I understand. But also bearing in mind that Paddy McCurry's win against the Israeli lad, you wouldn't have thought he would have got a Contender Series shot after that as well. And there was also
I think Paddy McCarty is slightly different because he was in tough already. So he was already on the UFC radar, and he had other devastating knockouts prior to that sort of did it. I think that was more of a formality of one. Well, I understand the Israeli guy didn't have the best record, but I think Paddy's body of work prior to that, he had some good wins, and obviously he was on tough. I think that win over Duarte with like a full camp, I think would have been the one for Leon Hill. But look, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm very interested to see where he does go next. And look, he's got some good wins on his record, and he's filling out that welterweight frame more and more every time you see him. So he's definitely edging a step closer. But I think the thing that we've seen is we don't want fighters to get to Contender Series and get to the UFC too early. They lose one or two and then they bounce back. You know what I mean? We want to stop the Cage Warriors bounce back. You want the get in the UFC and be staying in the UFC.
No, I get you. So you think
title
shot
actually
next
think,
one?
Yeah, I wouldn't be against it. Why not? Especially if they intend on coming back to Dublin early 2026. I'll be all for it. But then again, Leon Hill obviously came out of that fight totally unscathed. So who knows? Maybe there's an end of year show or something like that that Leon Hill can get a title fight on.
Yeah, do you know what? He said he conceived this happening as well. So the thing is, only Leon Hill knows what is next for Leon Hill.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, he's a top bloke. So really wish him the best. And look, he's carrying the city of Drogheda on his back,
Yeah, exactly. And then Ross, we have to get into the co-main event. Maximus Lally winning by split decision as well. Now the thing is, Max Lally, the arena, I think was said that there was nearly 2,000 people there. How many of the tickets do you think Max Lally sold for the event?
I wouldn't be surprised if he sold about 200. To be honest, it was very, very loud for Max Lally. It was a big moment for him. Co-main event. Plenty of people in the crowd were massive supporters of his. Ben Ellis, an absolute veteran of the sports as well. He was really taking a massive step up. And you know what? It's the first time I think we've seen for Max Lally him have a bit of adversity in his career. I feel like the second round, maybe, I don't know whether to say he took the foot off the gas or, Ben Ellis, definitely I thought won that round. So it's the first time I've seen Max Lally probably lose a round in the UFC or checking Cage Warriors. I don't know why I said the UFC there. In Cage Warriors. Look, he came back and showed that he had that heart and that grit in him. And he went back out there and look, he got the job done. And some people might look at Ben Ellis' record 4-3 and go, not great or whatever. But he has a win over the person who's fighting for the Cage Warriors featherweight title next, Nick Bagley. So he's no slouch whatsoever.
Yeah, that was the thing when the fight was announced. When you look at Ben Ellis' record and who he's actually beaten, obviously Nick Bagley's a big name on it. So it was like, right, obviously the guys in Charlestown and also in Nace, and then obviously his management, they were like, right, this is the next step forward. And he was tested. And as I said earlier, we did a post-fight interview with Max, and he said this was what he was looking for. Obviously, he would have liked to win it a lot cleaner, but sometimes you have to go through these wars, and he said that this is what he was meant to do. The way he was pushed in the build-up to the fight as well, like Cage Warriors know that they have a star in their hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Max Lally is no doubt an unbelievable talent. He went in there against a tough guy and had to dog out a war, and that's what he did. He also showed that he has the capabilities of taking a big shot and throwing one back. So, look, you wouldn't want all his fights to look like that, but he'll have that now as a baseline on where he needs to make his improvements, and then also he showed himself he can grit out a tough fight. I know he's probably done stuff like that in the gym before, but you can never fully replicate a fight night as he did there. And he went and got his hand raised. Look, it was probably not the perfect masterpiece he wanted to put on because we know how clinical he's been. But again, I think that fight will stand to him in time, and I think he'll look back in a couple of years and go, that was a really good win, and like that win, could be the making of him.
No, I agree. It was mad exciting as well, being out watching it, and like the last minute when they were just like going back and forth. That was like the arena erupted. That was great crack. But Ross, when would you like to see Max back in action again?
I think some stage in the new year. That was quite a. He was wearing that fight in his face afterwards, so I'd like to see him maybe takes a break for a while, and we see him early 2026.
Very exciting stuff. Ross, what fight do you want to get into next?
We might as well go to the GTA selector, Jer Harris. Brilliant rear naked choke win. Cutting unbelievable promos after the fight. A man who lacks no confidence. A man who just needed to get that win back under his belt. Look, he's love him, hate him. You know, you can't be entertained, but be entertained by him. And in saying that, also, he is someone who cage warriors have a lot of time for. You can tell by the way they put him in the main spots. He does well on their socials for them. And also, he's a fighter that's going to be in and around that title contention sooner rather than later. It really was a must win for him at the time. Like, he's up to 6-3 now. Like, if he lost that, he would have went to 5-4, and just not a great look, and not the record his talent would perceive, you know.
Look, obviously, I know I keep referencing the post-fight interviews, but that's obviously when you get to chat to these guys after. But like, Jer is like the funniest person. Jer is like the funniest person on the, when you got to put a microphone in front of him, and that's what the great thing about this is, because like, obviously, so many different fighters, so many different personalities. Some people are real quiet, some people are really like outgoing, but Jer is just like, he's just lions like in the pocket, ready to shoot them out. And like, he knew himself that like, this is it, like, this is, he has to take this serious. Like, I mean, he has the fan base, he has the talent, he has star potential. But the thing is, like, if you're not getting the wins and you have everything else, it doesn't really go anywhere. So like, getting that win and saying that he's going to be in and around the title contention, he wants to be out. He said he wants to be out two more times before the end of the year. Ross, do you think you can get the GTA selector out 2 more times before the end of this year?
Look, I'd 100% be watching, but I don't foresee it happening. But look, great that he won. Great that he came out there unscathed. He wrapped up that rear naked choke really, really well as well. I don't think we really touched on the actual finish itself. It was a really nice rear naked choke. And look, a lot of young kids look up to Jer Harris, and the win there probably means a lot to him, and also brought a massive fan base with him. I think I saw more GTA selector tops than any other top there, to be honest.
They were cool t-shirts. They were cool t-shirts, man.
Very, 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 very cool top. So fair play to Jer Harris. Big win for him. And then, speaking of big wins, I felt Adam Darby had a massive step up in competition against Roberto Constantine. He was 6-0 going into it, Constantine. But Darby, like, he really is one of those people who, as the fight goes on, he can maintain that high level of pace and his opponents start to fade. It's why in his amateur career and why in his pro career, he gets so many finishes later on in the fight, and he's constantly there. I even felt the ref could have stopped the fight even earlier than he did. And Adam Darby put on an absolute clinic, especially in that second and third round. And also, you can see the improvement in his stand-up as well. It was really, really impressive to see. So look, I think he has a long way to or a long and bright future ahead of him. And look, I think he's potentially one of the most underrated fighters on the Irish scene.
I don't think people underrate Darby. I think the issue is he's not living in the country, so therefore he sort of goes under the radar. Also, when he originally went over to San Diego to fight with the MMA Fight Academy, like, it was meant to be a show, a TV show coming out. Not so much like the Ultimate Fighter, but some sort of, maybe like a Jersey Shore.
I actually think it's like randomly out somewhere.
That was the question. I don't know what season. I think by this stage they could be on season 4, but they still haven't even put out season 1. Or like, you want to see what that stuff is, because Darby wouldn't put that much stuff out on social media as well. So like, it is hard.
He's starting to do a little bit more. I think that's because Teddy Stringer is quite good.
Okay, well, it's something you'd like to see a bit more of. That therefore, it was also great to see Andy Ryan in his corner as well. But look, the thing is, as we said, just alluding on to Jared, the winning is the best formula to get people to know who you are, and especially the way he loves coming back to the Ireland and fighting as well. Also, I have to give a shout out to as well his. I think he had the best shorts on the night as well, man.
Yeah, brilliant shorts. Shout out to Allure with the best shorts of the night for Adam Darby. Look, great win, and again, like, don't want to stir the pot here, but if they came back to Dublin and there was no welterweight title fight with Justin Burlington involved, they fought an amateur. Would you watch Leon Hill versus Adam Darby?
That'll be a great main event.
I think that would be an absolute whopper main event.
That's a. You see, the thing is, obviously, both guys are represented by Graham Boylan as well, so that probably wouldn't happen. But like, that would be the perfect one for both guys, to get a massive push as well, because like both are sort of you'd say are sort of under the radar, and then
I just think maybe underappreciated is probably the.
Okay, yeah, well, like, okay, that's a better term. Both lads are underappreciated, but see the way Keith Kyo fought Dane McKenna, and both lads' stock like improved massively. I think like an all Irish main event that would sell unbelievably well.
Yeah, really, really, really well. Speaking of someone whose stock went up, Conor McCarthy, massive win for him. His opponent Diego Vazani was absolutely tough as nails in there. Conor was throwing the kitchen sink at him in there. Again, like Darby, come rounds 2 and 3, he really took over. We were saying those conditioning sessions he does in SPG Nates really, really proved the point. He looked really, really good in there. Threw some massive shots. Spoke to Ian Dean afterwards, and he actually picked Conor McCarthy out and said his ceiling is so ridiculously high, and he's a massive fan. So that's something to note as well. So look, Conor McCarthy, massive win again. I think a bit more of a war than he probably would have liked. So probably wouldn't mind seeing him take a tiny bit of time off, and maybe we see him again in 2026.
Yeah, no, Conor really impressed me. I said it to him after that. I thought that he looked quite mature in his game as well for being so young, and look, he's still growing. The thing is, what would he like to do next? If he loves the sport, I think he has a massive support fan base from Clane as well, and also the team he's in as well is like SPG Nace is like a team that everyone knows how good their sessions are as well, because Peter Creedy likes to post them. So like Conor's definitely going places. I think we did a post-fight interview with Conor as well, and the audio didn't work, and the lad. So we're not hating on Conor, but the same thing happened last time we did an interview as well. The audio didn't work. I don't know who to blame, Ross. I don't know if that's your fault or my fault or our fault together. But next time we promise we'll have a full Conor McCarthy victory post-fight interview, won't we, Ross?
Yeah, maybe we'll have to get him on the build-up to his next Cage Warriors fight. Apologize. But we're massive fans of Conor McCarthy. He's really, really, really impressing us every single time he goes out there.
Yeah, exactly, man.
The last fight in the main card was what we dubbed as the people's main event. Keith Kyo for Damien McKenna. Keith Spice Bag Kyo. What do you think that is a nickname for him, Basmo?
I could get that, man. But he's more of a chipper guy. He likes to chipper a bit more than a Spice Bag, I think.
Yeah, fair.
You could call him Keith
salt and vinegar, Kyo. Love it. But look, he went out there and he put on a clinic. He really set the tone very, very early in the McKenna fight. He didn't let McKenna get going at all. And look, he looked brilliant on the feet. That's something that I think people must underrate Keith Kyo's striking game. Or potentially they might say they underrate his striking game because they really rate his grappling game. But Keith Kyo looked absolutely phenomenal in there from start to finish. He got the victory via submission in the first round via rear naked choke. And looks like the sky is the limit also for Keith Kyo. I can't wait to see him back in there. I'd love to see Keith Kyo back in there before the end of the year, because that was a performance really to be reckoned with. And look, he looks phenomenal these days. He looks in great shape. I feel like he's taken to the pro game very well in terms of interviews, the way he's promoting himself, and the way Cage Warriors did the unlocked version with him. I think all things are looking up for Kikyo right now. So look, I feel like Cage Warriors should get the rocket and strap it to his back. He looks like an absolute star for them.
Yeah, like even when we were speaking post fight as well, I think he was the one person who just spoke so passionately about where he wants to go and like how his plan is going according to plan. And when you hear him and the way he's like working in the background and working with Gaz Hickey and all the team and CMAC as well. Like Cage Warrior C, like a star as well. And even in the Unlocked thing, he came across very well as well. So like I think Kikyo was probably one of the biggest winners of the week, Ross.
Yeah, the only negative thing I have to say about Kikyo is he supports Liverpool, but other than that, he's a great lad. We'll fly through a few of the other fights now before we get to a few more of the ones we want to touch on. Unfortunately, Stephen Costello lost again, fell foul to bad circumstances. Manuel Duval weighed in 176 pounds, 6 pounds over the welterweight limit. Stephen Costello got up to 173 pounds, but he was told at weigh-ins that his opponent wasn't going to make weight, so that was unfortunate for Costello. Anthony Orzoko won unanimous decision. Unfortunately, Ryan Shelley was not victorious over 15 minutes against Gabriel Galucho. Gabriel Galucho got in our DMs, asking us why we weren't posted about him after the fact. Told him to calm down. Don't worry about it. We'll get you next time, bro. But a shout out to Ryan Shelley, absolute gent. Hopefully we see a better version of himself next time out. One that I really want to touch on though, Barry, is Gary Rooney. Another unbelievable finish. It was the Rooney choke, as you referred to it as. It picked him up 5k bonus. He looked phenomenal in there. That's 2 unbelievable submissions from Gary Rooney on the Cage Warriors roster. He also said he wants to take it a bit slow. He feels like he has plenty of time to develop his game. He just looks at lead when the fights hit the deck in there, and obviously he's shown much improved boxing as well with Jordan Moore in his corner. But that's 2 unbelievable first round submission wins in the first round for Gary Rooney, back to back on Cage Warriors. Would you like to see Gary Rooney back out before the end of the year, Basmo? Because I know I would. I know he has a baby on the way. Not too sure when it's due, so congrats on that as well. But I'd love to see Gary Rooney get one more in.
Oh no, definitely. The thing is, I don't know what way the cards are lining up and whether or not they can actually fit these guys on, because like they very rarely put Irish fighters on different cards, let alone multiple fighters. Like the likes, like as we're speaking right now, you almost want to see Keith Kyo back in there, Gary Rooney back in there, Leon Hill back in there, Darby back in there, like the Jer Harris straight. Like all these guys want to get on the rest of these cards for the rest of the year. Obviously, you'd like to see Gary back. The thing is, like Gary going to the event, the amount of up the flats chance, the way
they made a lot of noise.
They made a lot of noise, and like he also.
I think if Cage Warriors return to Dublin in 2026, I think Gary Rooney needs to be on the main card.
Oh, definitely. But and then he also got the $5,000 bonus for the performance of the night as well.
Yeah.
Gary Rooney was obviously like, I know I said Kikyo was one of the biggest winners of the week, but Gary Rooney was definitely one of the biggest winners of the week as well. Just definitely. Across the board, finish wise, virality wise, fan base wise, it was great to see.
The thing is with those Baz is that when Gary Rooney goes to fight next, they have such a good highlight reel package for him after his last 2 wins. The way he got up on the cage, the way his fans went nuts for him, the way he got his 2 finishes, the way he talked into the camera. Like, he's going to make a perfect video package for his next fight.
Yeah. They have a star there with Gary Rooney, and
that's the thing. Like, I'm thinking for the next Cage Warriors Dublin, depending who headlines it, there's going to be pictures of Keith Kyo in the crowd with all of the fans. It's going to be pictures of Leon Hill on top of his fans' shoulders in the crowd. There's going to be pictures of Gary Rooney on top of the cage with all his fans going nuts. Like, there's so many brilliant, picturesque moments there that Cage Warriors have unlocked, and especially as these guys go on in their career, think of the video packages when they're going to be fighting for the title. Like, this was promotional dreams happening for Cage Warriors in there for some of these guys.
Oh, exactly, man, exactly. And then obviously Paddy McCurry might be back as well. He could headline the event as well. There's the next show is just going to be even better.
Yeah, well, I look at it this way, right? I think we were at a stage where, James Sheen was champion, and then unfortunately he lost his belt at the last Cage Warriors 188, and then we had no champions. But I think in a very short space of time, this is the way I envision it. I think Adam Darby and Leon Hill, not a million miles off a welterweight title shot. I think if James Sheen returns, I wouldn't mind seeing him at middleweight and seeing if you make a run for the belt up there. But I think next at middleweight for a title shot, I think it's going to be Paddy McCarry. I think depending on what happens with the current middleweight champion, Barondelli, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Well, if I butchered it, you know who I'm talking about. He's obviously defending his title fight at Rome and at Cage Warriors Rome. If he wins, I wouldn't be surprised to see him off the UFC. That becomes vacant. You know, Paddy McCarry headlining Cage Warriors in Belfast will be a huge event, and it will be something that we definitely be going to, and it will be something that Irish MMA, it would definitely create more viral moments for Cage Warriors, and I think they do a lot of ticket sales up there.
Yeah, I think they need to come back 3 times next year. Twice in Dublin, 1 in Belfast.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is what's needed. And I know like people will be like, oh, what about somewhere like Cork or whatever? But at the moment, like the top guys, the guys who are selling tickets, Max Ali, Gary Rooney, Keith Keogh, Conor McCarthy,
J.R. Harris.
like J.R. Harris, like Adam Darby, like they're all Dublin based. So like that's where you put the shows. It just makes sense.
Exactly, yeah.
I'll finish off the card. Unfortunately, Joe Doyle lost in the first round. He ate a really vicious knee by Jay McGowan, so that was very well timed. One of the fights of the night, Trevor McKengo versus Norbert. That was an unbelievable fight. Trevor McKengo showed the heart of a lion in that one. Unfortunately, didn't get his hand raised, but I don't think he was a million miles off getting his hand raised either. Emer Darcy picked up a decision win. Thought she was a bit tensive throughout the fight. A lot of side kicks thrown. But great to see her back in the win column. She leaves there relatively unscathed. So I think that's a massive confidence boost for her. And looking forward to seeing her out there again. And hopefully she'll let the hands go a bit more because we've seen the power that she has in them. So I'd love to see her hunt for that knockout slightly more. And Kenny Mokamana had a split decision win. That was a really tough fight against Damien Donald. And that third round was a bit of a war in itself. Can you drop Damon? And then Damon, I think that was in second. And then Damon came back and landed some big body shots. So look, overall, I would give Cage Warriors Dublin a 9 out of 10. Really, really enjoyed it. I think it would only get 10 out of 10 if a few more of the Irish that didn't get their hand raised got their hand raised. But look, we're selfish like that, Basmo. I thought overall it was a great event. I think the main card absolutely banged.
Yeah. No, it was overall a great event. And the most important thing is as well, the people that buy the tickets that go to the events, did they have a good time? And a lot of them
like
definitely did. And well, that's what's most important because therefore they'll want to come back again. And obviously the RDS was a great location. They added like what is it, staging? Tiered seating.
Yeah.
Tier seating. So it was better for people viewing and just enjoying the event. So things have gotten better since last time, and they're only going to keep getting better. And then also the stars were out as well. Obviously, Ryan Curtis, Sean O'Bannon, Kiefer Crosby, and many, many more. So overall, it was a great event. It's always great to be part of it, and also speaking to the fighters after when they're just fresh off the win, still having the adrenaline there, and just looking forward to seeing what they're going to do next because this is why we love covering the sport, Ross.
Absolutely. And then one last thing on Cage Warriors in Rome this weekend, we hear the return of Alex O'Sullivan, the head coach of CMAC. He will be in action there. So make sure to check that out. He's the only Irish fighter on that Rome card. He actually was meant to be on the Dublin card, but then he asked to be moved to the Rome card, how he could coach his teammates. What a guy. Make sure you row in behind Alex O'Sullivan. Be supporting him this weekend.
Exactly. Shout out to CMAC as well. Ross, before we get into PFL Dubai that's going down this Friday, we have to discuss as well. We were at ADCC Dublin in the DCU, or in DCU Sports Campus. And Ross, it was the first time we were covering jiu-jitsu at an event. And what an event to kick it off with, man.
Yeah, it was a really, really high-level jiu-jitsu event. We saw some of the best grapplers in the country. And look, there were some unbelievably high-level matchups. Baz, you haven't been to many jiu-jitsu competitions or seen much jiu-jitsu action in its purest form. What did you make of it?
Well, first of all, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. So I was like, right, what should we expect? Then going into the event, like Kieran Davern, we had him on the show last week discussing what people should look forward to and how to watch it, and like in the build up as well, they were showing what medals and the belts and how much the money the winners get for male and female. And going in, the way it was run so smoothly, it was really, really cool to see the way they had the bullpen, and then they had the formats and the way everything was being streamed, and just the professionalism of it as well.
I was really impressed by the way it was run. I thought, the formats was brilliant. Really, really enjoyed watching the matchups. And look, it seemed to go off without a hitch. I thought it was a great show, and we saw, as I said, some of the best grapplers in the country go get the job done. I'll start with yourself, Barry. Was there anyone who, from maybe not being as aware of the jiu-jitsu scene, really stood out to you?
Yeah, so at the event, there was a few people that stood out. So basically, like Ross, you were covering the two mats to the right, and I was more covering the two mats to the left. And then there was a Charlie O'Byrne. There was also Fionn Donoghue. Who else? I thought Zara was brilliant as well. And then obviously Mohammed and Jermaine were another two people that like really, really stood out. But like there were other competitors, but the way people were coming in and out so fast, it was like you didn't really get to catch their names. But there were ones that definitely stood out, Ross. What about yourself?
Yeah, I have to agree. Zara Di Stefano was really, really impressive. She got a last minute armbar in the final, or last second armbar in the final to win. Obviously, Jermaine getting a win over Mohammed in the final was absolutely massive. That's something that probably was an upset, I suppose. But two really high level grapplers, so that would be probably the biggest win of Jermaine's domestic career anyway. So that was really, really great to see. But then there's a few other ones that I was watching along the way that I didn't know them as well. But then I thought, look, that was really, really impressive to see. I saw Tyrone Quinn from Lakeland Jiu-Jitsu. He actually went against David Zamora, who is one of his own students, I think in the absolute at one stage. So that was really, really funny to see. And Tyrone Quinn put on a brilliant performance. He actually got a bronze medal in the absolute, which is great considering he was in the 83 kg bracket. Richard Buscavan out of East Coast Jiu-Jitsu. He was actually, I think he's one of Charlie O'Byrne's coaches. He was in the 70 kg bracket, and he actually went against Jermaine, who was in the 100k plus bracket, which was always an interesting watch. And then Sean Carmody as well at 65 kilos, all won the pros. Have to give a few others a shout out. Yogi and Ola, who were in the intermediates, and then they were sort of the ones on the mats that I was watching. But yeah, I know Fionn and Charlie, I know you followed the journey from almost start to finish, so they look really impressive as well. But I thought unbelievable stuff by the promotion, like for the winners, Zara and Jermaine, to get lovely belts, by the way. Some of the nice belts I think I've seen in MMA or Jiu-Jitsu. Also to get €1,000 cash. Like, there'll be MMA fighters who might not have made €1,000 cash in a pro fight. So to get up on the day and win a couple of Jiu-Jitsu matches and walk out with €1,000 in your back pocket ain't bad, is it, Basman?
No, it's great. Like, look.
And we have 3 dates announced for 2026 as well. So I'm really looking forward to that, Basman.
Yeah, same here, man. It was a great event. It was great to be part of it as well and promote it in the build up and cover it on the day. So we want to give everyone at the ADCC Ireland a massive shout out, especially Kieran Davern and Shane Smith for running it, and also shout out to Ron Deegan for the best coffee at the event as well, Ross.
Yeah, absolutely. Fella, Moneybags Deegan making all that cash selling the coffee at the event. But great to chat to him, and can't wait to see him Clan Wars very, very soon. Also, looks like I think we're going to be working the Evolution event on the 30th of November as well. So stay tuned for more action and updates on that. But the Energized Show have arrived on the jiu-jitsu scene with a bang. I think we probably put out over 60 posts about ADCC over the last two or 3 weeks, and we look forward to covering more jiu-jitsu. I think it's something that We got a lot of positive feedback from the athletes and the fighters at Cage Warrior as well that were like, "Oh, thanks so much for all the help that you give us promoting the events and all the help you get promoting us, and providing platforms for us, and let everyone know when we're competing and stuff like that." And I was actually a bit blown away this weekend because obviously we were doing an absolute slog, working 15, 16 hours straight. That it was really nice when people came up and said how much they appreciated us.
Yeah, no, it's always very nice to hear. So yeah, no, thanks to everyone that got involved. Also, someone told my dad about how important the Energized Show is to the Irish MMA scene. My dad just thought we were two Egypts. So whoever that was, if you're listening right now, thank you very much.
We also are two Egypts.
Oh no, we are definitely two Egypts, but not like because obviously like someone telling my dad that out of the blue was very, very cool.
Yeah, your dad just like doesn't understand it, but he understands a bit of it, but like not on the like he probably doesn't understand the intricacies of Irish MMA to that extent.
Yeah, no, it was very cool. So I appreciate.
But also, your dad's a legend, so like I'm glad someone was saying something nice about his son.
Yeah, so they were going to Cage Warriors and they met him, so that was very nice. So Ross, that was the action from the Irish combat sports scene over the weekend. We also have to look ahead to PFL Dubai this Friday. Ross, it is obviously being headlined by Paul Hughes against Nurmagomedov for the second time. Ross, Friday the 3rd of October. What do you make the build-up for this event?
Yeah, I think it's a big build-up. I think it's a big fight. I think it's the biggest fight that PFL can make at the moment. I think these two fighters have done a great job in selling the fight. I think the first fight was very, very close. I expect the second fight to be very, very close. I expect both fighters to improve from their first performance. I feel like there'll be different reads, and I think it's going to be a tactical battle. I think whoever can make the better adjustments will be the person who gets their hand raised. Paul Hughes seems to be convinced he's going to get the finish come fight night. I wouldn't be anyone to doubt him, and I feel like Usman Nurmagomedov is taking sort of, I took him a bit lightly last time, I won't take him lightly this time. So that's sort of the narrative from the two fighters going into it, and I think we're in for an absolute banger. This the first fight was up for 2025 fight of the year. I think
it won it.
Oh, did it? Okay,
yeah.
There we have it. And I wouldn't be surprised if this one has a chance to win it. The next year's one, if that's when it'll be judged. So, look, two absolute elite fighters, two of the best fighters signed to the PFL roster. Two of their biggest stars, two stars that feel sort of homegrown. Paul Hughes, I feel like, has sort of shaken the Cage Warriors fighter, and now is a PFL fighter. And I feel like Usman Nurmagomedov is also referred to as a PFL fighter as well. So, two fighters that people really recognize the brand PFL with, fighting for the belt, and also PFL stating that this is like an official world champion, like the winner of this is their lightweight champion, and sort of poo-pooing the rest of the belts, which I'm totally okay with, is something that I'm looking forward to seeing them do more of, and I think it makes the fight that little bit bigger.
Yeah, no, I'm fully expecting this to be another very entertaining fight as well. Paul Hughes obviously saying that Usman was not interested in fighting him again. He was running from him, and
I think he was a little bit.
Yeah, but now this is the fight everyone wanted to see. Paul Hughes coming off a very impressive victory up in Belfast. So, look, it's going to be very, very close. I'd say the bookie's favorite is Usman, but I wouldn't say by much. So this can be very interesting because I actually thought Paul won the first fight. So we will find out this Friday in Dubai. Ross, there's a couple of other Irish fighters to look out for, but the fight people are very interested in is Artem Lobov making his return to the MMA cage. Artem hasn't fought since, I think it's 2018 in mixed martial arts. Ross, what do you make of the signing of Artem Lobov to PFL? And did you see it coming after his success in bare knuckle?
No, I was definitely surprised to see it coming, but I think this fight in particular makes sense. Artem and Tugov or Zubera, whichever way you want to say it. They obviously had the altercation back when the dolly was thrown through the window, and the instance that built up that. And then also Tugarov was one of the guys who got in the cage and punched McGregor after the melee with Khabib, and then they were also scheduled to fight in 2018. Look, it'd be interesting seeing when these guys come face to face. Will there be a bit of bad blood? What will Artem say? I'll be interested to see, will they both be invited to the press conference? Is it too much drama for a fight that much lower down on the card? Will it steal the show? This one could be the second, third most talked about fight come fight night. If PFL play this right this week in the media build up.
Yeah, well, it's funny how they're going back to the sort of like Ireland versus Dagestan.
Yeah, back to that. Well,
yeah, it is funny, but like, look, if you want to sell an event, so look, if you get Conor McGregor's name involved, there's definitely going to sell a few more. Well, I don't know if this is on pay-per-view, but if it was pay-per-view, you'd definitely sell a few more pay-per-views. Also, Artem's a big name in Ireland as well.
Yeah, absolutely, he really is.
Yeah. And then Ross, another fight people are going to be making sure to tune in and see is Caolan Loughran making his PFL debut, and he's now taking on Jack Cartwright. Ross,
yeah, well,
what's making this fight?
Well, it's going to be a catchweight fight. He was obviously supposed to fight Lewis McGrillen. That was going to be really, really hype, but we will see how this one goes. I favour Caolan Loughran to get the job done. I feel like Jack Cartwright did his best work at flyweight. I felt like Caolan was a big bantamweight, so I feel like he's going to have the size advantage. He's obviously been training really, really hard for this fight. Jack Cartwright's coming in on short notice. And look, we saw Caolan Loughran fight Jake Hadley on short notice and it didn't go his way, so I'm sure he'll want to make sure that that does not happen again. And I expect Caolan Loughran to get his hand raised come fight night. This is actually a pretty good card as well, because we also have John Mitchell on the card. He is fighting against Makaship Zakunov, if that's how you say it. And that will be at lightweight. John Mitchell is now part of FAI. But if you look at the main card here, this is a pretty strong card. You have Corey Anderson fighting against David Yagishimuradov for the vacant 205 title. Archie Colgan's fighting JJ Wilson. I feel like the PFL have done a good job here that if someone gets injured in the main event, Archie Colgan will probably step in and fight them for the belt, which is a good backup to have there. And then we also have the well-known Sergio Pettis fighting Magomedov. And then also kicking off the main card is Slim Triplisi, who is an outstanding heavyweight who was 8-0 former Olympic wrestler who beat Ryan Spillane when Ryan Spillane made his pro debut. Yeah.
But no, the card, I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be Friday night. Also, we want to give a massive shout out to Dara Kelly, who was victorious at PFL Nonce on Friday over the weekend. Also, shout out to Claudia Bacella and Kyle Sullivan, who also competed on the card, but were unfortunately unsuccessful.
I think both lost split decisions.
Yeah, so look, we'll get more into PFL next week, Ross, as that's like a very, very interesting card, and we'll be promoting it all week across social media. Then, Ross, this weekend, Saturday night, before we get into what Irish fighters are competing. Oh, no, we'll get into the Irish ones first. Octagon is back. Richie Smullen is going to be competing on the card. And Ross, Richie Smullen has made a massive splash in Octagon so far. One fight in. He's now fighting Bursinger?
No, Ivan Bunshinger.
Bunshinger, sorry, excuse me. And with a win here, Richie Smullen could be fighting for a Octagon world title next.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Richie Smullen should definitely be fighting for an Octagon title next with a win over Bunshinger. Obviously, Bunshinger was in that fight with Conor McGregor when Conor McGregor came champ. He's best known for taking that L, but Bunshinger is someone who's very well regarded in the Octagon brass. And look, I think a win here for Richie Smullen, no doubt about it, puts him in that title contention. If you look at Bunshinger, 45 wins, 10 losses, like that's a big resume he's carrying in there. And Bunshinger has won his last two. in Octagon. So and he's won them by finish. So I think for me, absolutely, Richie Smullen should be fighting for a title next time out.
Yeah. Also, we want to give a shout out to Amy Scully, who's defending her title at Shock and Awe this weekend as well. That's obviously an amateur fight. But our Manchester top teams, Armin Hersig is competing in the main event at Samurai Fighting Championships this Saturday as well. So we'll keep you up to date on that as well. And also, Ross mentioned earlier, Cage Warriors 195 Rome is going down on Saturday. You can see that on UFC Fight Pass as Alexander O'Sullivan returns to action. And this weekend as well, the Fares Fighting Championship is going down in Cork as the Fares brothers, Abanoob and Fufu, are putting on their first event in Cork. Ross, we have to look at UFC 320. That's also going down on Saturday night for all the absolute degenerates that have listened to the whole Irish MMA scene and Jiu-Jitsu to hear about this Saturday night's pay-per-view event.
One last thing I just want to say was Richie Smullen's actually ranked 5 at lightweight at the moment, and Boneshinger's ranked at 1. So a win here means he beats the number 1 guy in the division.
Yeah. That's it. Well, before we get into 320 as well, that's going to be very interesting because obviously, like, Richie will be cornering Amy Scully at events. Richie was obviously cornering Gary Rooney over the weekend. Like, Richie has always been in Artem's corner as well. So it's going to be really, really interesting now to see what way they move the pieces around and who's cornering who over this weekend as well.
Yeah, it definitely will be. But Richie's an absolute vet, so I feel like you go somewhere with no corner and still get the business done.
Imagine Richie isn't. Oh no, he's obviously not going to corner Artem and then fight his fight the next night. That'd be mad.
No,
yeah, that's a bit too much. Ross, UFC 320 this weekend, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big one. I feel like the weekend just gone's UFC. All eyes from that main event are now going to be on this one. UFC 320 is a massive card. Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira, the rematch. I think a lot of people are torn on this one. I think some people think Ankalaev have Pereira's number, and some people think Pereira, because it was so much fought on the feet the first time, that they think Pereira is going to be able to take the second time out. And then the other thing is who's going to stop Merab Dvalishvili? Can Corey Sandhagen put a dent in him and stop him with his unique, unorthodox style? For me, I think Merab is the dead cert. I know a lot of Corey Sandhagen fans won't be happy to hear that, but I think the main event is 50-50. And then also that sort of third last fight, that Khalil Roundtree versus Yuri Prohaska, is an absolute barn burner fight. The top 3 fights in this card are absolutely whopper. Fans are going to be delighted to watch it.
I'm going to go 2 and stills for Magomed Ankalaev and Merab Dvalishvili.
You're going to pick first, Baz. So is Merab going to be the guy?
Yeah, I think so. I think you just, unless you're leading me up the garden path, man. But
no, I feel like it's going to be a while before you see a bantamweight that can topple that fella.
Also, they have to put in Patchy Mix on the early prelims as well.
Yeah, that absolute reject treatment. That's what it is, though, isn't it?
Oh man, if you don't take your opportunities, you just get absolutely dumped. The UFC is just so ruthless, man.
Yeah, well, he's actually 20-2. 20 wins, 2 losses. It's not like he lost to an absolute bum. Like, he lost to Batista.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, hit him with the Batista bomb 1, 2, 3, and like that was it. You know, what can you do?
What can you do, man? Just keep staying on the good side. Can't let that chap down these days. Yeah, there was also.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, no, there was a couple of announcements as well. Owen Sheridan is going to be fighting on the 18th of October. And also we have James Gallagher coming back in action on the 23rd of October as well. As myself and Ross always say, the Energized Show's Instagram page puts out all the content on all the latest fights and all the latest fighters, all the upcoming events. So, like, look, if you're an Irish MMA connoisseur, that is the place to go. We're almost on 20,000 followers. Like at the moment, we're the most followed, the people who put out the most content most regularly. Now covering more jiu-jitsu than ever as well, Ross. So you're very happy walking around your gi over the weekend as well. So things are only going up. There's more Irish MMA events going down this weekend. As I said, the Farthest Fighting Championships, the week after Elite Fighting Championships, the week after Cage Conflict, and the week after that Clan Wars. Like it's all very, very exciting stuff, and very exciting times ahead in the build up to the end of the year, Ross. So before we wrap things up, what's your overall thoughts on all of what we got up to at ADCC and Cage Wars over the weekend? And
I love going to the events. I love socializing with people there, chatting to people that you don't see on a regular basis, seeing how they're getting on, talking to some people from the jiu-jitsu gyms that we don't really see that often. Some people from the smaller MMA gyms, and just fighters that you know maybe haven't competed in a while but are competing in jiu-jitsu. That was class. You know, being part of that atmosphere for Cage Warriors is always a unique experience that we're lucky to have. So I just want to say shout out to Or Kings, who are sponsoring us at the moment, and I think we'll probably be opening the door for one or two more sponsors to come on, how we can continue on doing what we do, and how we can make waves and go to more events and do more cool stuff.
Yeah. Also, shout out LSD for the fabulous t-shirts, Ross, over the weekend.
Yeah, you go strutting LSD. Thank you so much for getting us out. And to ADCC for our new ADCC t-shirts as well. That's what had us looking so sexy at the weekend. And of course, the green glasses. But guys, thanks so much. Do make sure to continue supporting us. We really, really do appreciate it. Give it a like, give it a share, give it a follow, tell a friend. If you don't have any friends, just put into your work Slack channel or your work WhatsApp group and just say, follow these lads. They're absolute legends. Thanks a million for all your support. We love you. And as always, stay energized.
The Energized Show, up the Irish. The Energized Show, up the Irish. It's the face that runs the place, Chaos Curtis. I want to thank the Irish MMA community so much for getting behind me. You up the Chaos Cartel.